So, I know a lot of people like to relish in the misery of the Collingwood Magpies, and don't get me wrong, I'm totally guilty of that. But man, if there was one year that I really wanted Collingwood to make a grand final, it was this year. And after the, we'll go lackluster final, it only stings that much more. But, you know, I'm not here to talk about what could have been, I'm here to talk about what was. And so today, I'll be going through the 2019 season review for the Collingwood Magpies. After a heartbreaking 2018 grand final where they lost by only 4 points in the last 2 minutes of the game, no less, Collingwood looked to pretty much bolster an already pretty stellar team with even more depth that will hopefully let them avoid heartbreak once again. In the 2018 off-season, they reacquired Dane Beams from the Lions and traded for Jordan Roughead from the Bulldogs. Now, outside of Beams, seems like a pretty quiet trade period, but the trade ended up paying dividends as Roughead was probably one of the best and most versatile backs for the entirety of for Collingwood's entire season. Going into the draft, they picked up two highly recruited prospects in academy pick Isaac Quaynor and father-son pick Will Kelly, brother of Jake, son of Craig. Now to get into the season proper, and like many teams throughout the year, and I'm kind of getting sick of saying this, they yo-yoed, going 2-2 in the first 4 weeks before finally and thankfully stabilizing, winning 7 games straight and going into their bye week 9-3. Post-bye, they were a little less consistent, going 6-4, finishing the season 15th and 7th. During that 7-win streak, there were some absolute drubbings. They absolutely spanked the Lions up at the Gabba, and then on the other hand, there was some very close and skinnier teeth style victories, like the Anzac Day clash against the Bombers, where arguably an umpiring mistake cost the Bombers a match, but doesn't reflect in the ledger. Let's just move on. Like I said, they were good enough to finish 4th and a double opportunity in the season. But there was one thing that was really consistent with the Collingwood season, and that was some bizarre stuff happening to their players. Now, injuries to the likes of Mason Cox, Ben Reid, Dane Beams, Taylor Adams, Ed Langdon, they're all normal, and even players like Jordan DeGoey missing a handful of matches throughout the season. But those are to be expected in a football year. What wasn't suspected was when Rising Star winner from the 2018 season, Jaden Stevenson, got suspended for 10 games for placing a bet on his own team. Now, that is a really stupid idea, and the punishment was pretty severe for a relatively, I guess, minor crime, but you know. It was going to be even worse, but they suspended most of the games for years into the future, pretty much. Then, there was something that was less serious and more kind of funny in a really, really stupid way, and that was the whole fill-in fiasco, where player Braden Sire played some pickup basketball while he was supposed to be injured. What pseudonym did he use? Fill in. Get it? I'm not gonna lie, the whole fiasco or controversy surrounding this is so 2019 season, and when I do a full, more light-hearted look at the season, this will probably be one of the shining moments of just the complete comedy show that that AFL was this year. Even though players were dropping like flies due to their own incompetence or just injuries, the Magpies, like I said, still looked very, very good. Brodie Grundy he's pretty much cemented his place as All-Australian ruckman for the near future, unless catastrophic injury gets in the way, but I highly doubt that. He played a blinder of a season and was easily one of Collingwood's best performers. The defence really stood up this year. They were absolutely dominant, probably one of the best units in all of football, probably up there with Geelong as well. The midfield kept up appearances, Pendlebury having a pretty good bounce back year, and even though Dane Beams was missing throughout the year, you had other players step up in his stead to really shoulder the pressure, like Adam Treloar, Will Hoskin-Elliott, and those guys just really stepping up to. The forward line wasn't as good as it used to be. Well, it wasn't as good as last year, so I should say. They were down on points in the 2018 season. They scored 2,046 points, while this year it was a pretty steep decline to only 1,885 points in total throughout the season. Now, whether or not that's something to be concerned about in the future, I don't know. Again, they still got players to come back from injury, and I'm pretty sure there is some young blood coming up through the system that should really help out. Brody Myercheck scored the most goals for the Pies this season with 36 goals, closely short, followed by Jordan De Goey, who kicked 34 in only 17 appearances. Like I said, he'd been hampered a bit with injuries, and if he's back to full health and gets consistent game time, again, Collingwood are going to be an absolute force to deal with. And even though I said their scoring was down, that's by no means saying they only won close to low-scoring games. No, they put some absolute beatdowns on clubs, particularly against the Crows and the Brisbane Lions off the top of my head. Both, might I add, away from home. Now, getting into the pointy end of the season, alongside Brisbane and the Tigers, Collingwood looked like they had the momentum to go all the way to the grand final, or possibly win it. First up, they came up against a Cats team that did win the minor premiership, but not many had taken seriously as premiership threats for the past couple weeks since they yo-yoed after their 11-1 start to the season. And they took care of business. The defense shut down Geelong pretty much. The offense did enough for them to win. However, it was a little bit concerning when they only scored 61 points, and in the final quarter, the Cats managed to shut out Collingwood, which is, I'm not saying it was kind of a bad sign. It was just like, your offense is a little bit underperforming, especially in the pointy end of the season. But they had a week off to iron that stuff out, get some players back, and go forward. But, unfortunately, for Collingwood, the prelim laid bare all the offensive issues that they had as they got, for 3 quarters, absolutely smoked. It was a low-scoring affair, but they only scored 3 goals till 3-quarter time, and by that stage, they were down by 26 points. Now, not insurmountable, and in the final quarter, they had a furious comeback, scoring 4 goals 5 to only 1 goal 1. But, and you can't help but think, if the offense did manage to show up earlier in the game, because the defense still played extremely well and kept Gold Coast to 8 goals 8 throughout the match. You just think if their forward line showed up for maybe another quarter and a half of the game, they could have won, but unfortunately, they went down by only 4 points. Yeah, it was a really disappointing and sad way to see the season end for the Pies, who, again, I'm pretty sure would have made a way more interesting grand final than the one we did get, but alas, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Even though it was an exceptional season and it kinda ended in heartbreak for the Pies, I don't see them going anywhere outside of more catastrophic injuries to a lot of their key players, but even then I think they have the depth to step up. If I were to give Collingwood a rating, I would give them a 9 out of 10. Again, you might be thinking a 15-7 record, heartbreaking prelim final loss, and the forward line wasn't looking too good. Still, with all the turmoil, especially on the players' side, and all the stupid decisions that some of them made, it was still a really, really good season. And honestly, like I said, they were one of the 3 teams by the end of the year looked like they had a real chance to win the premiership. But alas, Collingwood fans will need to suffer another summer of discontent before they get their next shot at redemption. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to click like and comment down below to let me know how I did. Also, if you want to see more football related videos or other season reviews we've done, click subscribe and ring the bell to stay notified of all new content coming your way. If you want to discuss football, and especially the trade period, which is honestly one of the most interesting parts of the year, and it comes right at the end, please join our Discord, link in the description. And now, this is the third last season review, obviously with the 2 competitors in the grand final being done tomorrow and the day after. But then we get into the off season, where I'll be doing a couple videos on the trade period, the draft, and all that good stuff. And like I said, a lighthearted review of the 2008-19 season in general. But unfortunately, those will take a little bit of time. So, till next time, I'll see ya.